Blind Bartimaeus. He was born in poverty, and that bothered him little. Most Jews were poor these days, what with the rule of the Roman Empire. Israel was enslaved, and poverty was everywhere. His problem was he was born blind, totally, completely blind, healthy as could be, but blind. Years passed, and he grew somewhat accustomed to his plight, except for some things like the neighborhood bullies that sneaked up on him in his darkness and punched him with their fists and poked him with sticks. They jumped back a few feet and laughed at him as he swung wildly, beating the air with his fist, infuriated more by their laughter than the pain. Once, when he was 12, he caught one of their arms, and with strength born out of rage, he pulled him close and choked him till he stopped breathing. Would have choked him to death had it not been for two grown men passing by. They pried his clenched fingers apart and held him till the anger left and the tears came. Hot tears, years of pent-up emotions that flowed down both cheeks, dripping silently into the sand at his feet. One good thing, though, no one dared touch him after that. In fact, two of the bullies became his friends and played with him. Well, played with him as much as one can play with a blind boy. Girls talked to him some, mostly out of pity. When he realized their pity, he sent them away. Pity was not allowed. Not by his mother, ever. Not by his father, and not by him. This one thing was sure, he'd never be a father or marry a girl. What fool would marry a blind man in times like these? His father died, and Bartimaeus was 17, and that's when the begging started. He hated it, hated every single minute of it, but Mom could barely keep herself, let alone two of them, so he begged. Mom made him a beggar's cloak out of wool, more like a blanket than a coat. It spread out in front of him on the ground and caught what coins were tossed his way. Without it, coins were lost in the sandy dirt, and he went home with nothing. The one he had now was the last one she'd ever sew. Hard work, old age, arthritis, had her fingers bent and stiff, much too stiff to sew. Early morning before daylight, he carefully folded his cloak under his arm, gathered scraps of food, slowly groped his way to the road outside the city walls that led to Jerusalem. More money could be had at the temple in town, but travelers on the road spoke of the one thing that gave him hope. Even in his dark, dark world, hope. They spoke from the law and the prophets, Moses, David, Elijah, and Isaiah. Isaiah was his favorite, for his writing spoke of a coming Messiah, one pierced for our transgressions, bruised for our iniquities, by whose stripes we are healed. We are healed. Twice he asked the Pharisees, teachers of the law, to tell him more. Knowing full well their hypocrisy, he asked. Seeing past their religious veneer, he asked. They didn't even acknowledge his existence, so he just listened. He listened and learned. Then the rumors started. Rumors of a new prophet in town, not John who baptized, but of one Jesus of Nazareth. Rumors that he cast out demons with his words. Rumors that he healed withered hands and caused the lame to walk. Rumors to everyone, but not to blind Bartimaeus. He knew, burned with knowing, this was him. This was he that was spoken of by Isaiah. Oh, if only, oh God, if only. Then early one clear, cold morning, it happened, the unthinkable. This crowd coming down the dusty road was large and loud, maybe the largest he'd ever heard, certainly the loudest. Before they reached him, he realized this was him. Jesus was passing by. And that's when he cried out, Jesus, have mercy on me. Shut up, blind man. Be still, beggar, said those around him. And that much louder he cried, Jesus. And then the unbelievable. The procession stopped and fell silent. First the front, and then all of them were quiet. And in the silence he shouted, almost screamed, Jesus, thou son of David, have mercy on me. Silence again. And in the silence, a voice with quiet authority said, bring him to me. Bartimaeus threw aside his cloak, knowing he would beg no more. He jumped to his feet, ran stumbling, blind, falling down blind, helped by the crowd now, until he stood before the Master. What would you have me to do for you? Said Jesus. Lord, that I might receive my sight. And Jesus said, go your way. Your faith has made you whole. And Bartimaeus went his way seeing. Now, friend, what beggar's garment are you wearing? None, you say. How about tradition? What about fear of men? What about fear of what people will think? Whatever it is, cast it aside and come in your prayers to the Christ. Come past what people think. Come past your pride. Ask that God's purpose be done in our lives, in our church, and in our town. Cry out, Jesus, thou Son of David, have mercy. Press past the crowds and come to the Holy One of Israel. Continue to cry out to him that your town might see. Without him, they cannot see, and without us, he will not remove their blindness.